German designers and engineers have always been famous for their scrupulous attitude to the creation of military equipment. And not only in the military. Despite the crushing defeat of Germany in World War II, she not only managed to restore her tank industry, but also raised it to a completely different level, even if not without outside help. Having created the most massive fighting vehicle of the NATO countries and a worthy successor to the Tiger and Panther. In 1965, the Krauss Company released the first batch of Leopards. They were the main tanks of Germany until the 80s. Leopard 1 is designed according to the classical layout. The crew consists of 4 people: mechanic, driver, commander, gunner, and loader. The main armament was a rifled, semi-automatic gun. L7A1, assembled under a British license. Has a barrel length of 52 caliber. Ammunition is in different cases from 55 to 60 unitary shots. Rate of fire up to 10 rounds per minute. The weapon turned out to be very successful. They were armed not only with post-war tanks in Britain, but also with many vehicles from other countries. Auxiliary weapons are presented in the form of 2 machine guns of 7 caliber 62 mm with a total ammunition load of 5,200 rounds. The combat weight of the tanks is 39.6 tons. A figurative 10-cylinder engine with a capacity of 830 horsepower is installed on the Leopard. The speed on the highway is 65 kilometers per hour. The power reserve is about 600 kilometers. The tank received a large number of positive reviews. In total, approximately 5.5 thousand units were built. The Bundeswehr operated the Leopard 1 until 2010. Technological progress proceeded by leaps and bounds. Moreover, a very powerful neighbor with a developed industry, armored vehicles, and anti-tank weapons is located very close by. The Germans were well aware that they needed a fundamentally new tank capable of withstanding the huge and modern Soviet tank army. Therefore, West Germany and American colleagues began a joint project to develop a promising OBD, called MBD-70. It was supposed to be the best tank in the world, which was subsequently to be in service with the United States, Germany, and other NATO countries. Despite the initially different vision of the Americans and the Germans on what properties the future tank should have and the ongoing disputes during the development of the MBD-70. However, in 1967, the United States and Germany rolled out one prototype each. The MBD-70 embodied many technical solutions that were original for its time, such as a low silhouette with the location of a driver, a turret complex in the bow, adjustable hydro, air suspension, the use of combined armor, and so on. The MBD-70 weapon system was designed to defeat all promising armored targets with a margin for further modernization. For the development of the project and the construction of prototypes, a total of $380 million was spent. Germany paid most of them. In the 60s, this was a very large amount, even for the United States. To understand this, it is enough to say that the Americans financed such money in the development of projects for aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines. In 1969, West Germany was forced to abandon further joint work created by common efforts. The project was decided to be divided into 2 independent American national programs: XM-803 and the German Leopard 2. German designers were confident that they could cope on their own. By that time, tank building in their republic had been completely restored, and they also gained considerable experience in the process of creating and improving the tank. Leopard alone. German specialists used many constructive solutions obtained during the joint American-German project. In particular, there are two Leopard prototypes. A diesel engine was installed, a hydromechanical transmission, as well as other components and assemblies and systems designed for the MBD-70. In 1974, 16 prototypes had already been built, 10 were armed with a 105mm gun, and the rest with a 120mm smoothbore gun. In 1976, the U.S. and the FRG entered into an agreement to standardize their tank programs. It provided for the unification of the main armament, ammunition, fire control system of the engine, transmission, and tracks. The Americans provided German designers with access to some of their technologies, which subsequently had a positive effect on the creation of the German car. Based on these conditions, the Germans created Leopard 2 AB. There is an opinion among German experts that without the help of a Western partner, Leopard 2 would have received weaker protection and would have had a less advanced fire control system. In 1977, this variant was adopted by the Bundeswehr. Leopard 2 participated in comparative tests with the promising American tank M1. As a result, both cars as a whole showed equal competition, but still there were differences. The German vehicle showed better mobility and greater firepower when using a 120mm gun. The American vehicle had better security and more accurate firing of the 105mm cannon. One of the terms of the agreement on the standardization of tank programs between the Federal Republic of Germany and the United States was that there were two Leopards. Must be tested with the American gas turbine engine 1500, which was already on the M1 Abrams. German specialists could not refuse their Western partners and were forced to create an experimental prototype Leopard 2. After testing, it turned out that the American power plant has the best torque, but the specific fuel consumption is much higher in comparison with the German diesel engine MB-873. The automatic transmission also did not show its best side. To all this, installing 1500 on a Leopard 2 would mean reworking the aft hull. All in all, it didn't make sense. And further tests were stopped. In 1979, the production of Leopard tanks began by two companies, Krauss-Maffei. The first batch consisted of 380 vehicles. And in 1980, they were transferred to the Bundeswehr. In the Army, the new tanks received the unofficial name Leopard 2 A0. This was a historic event for the German armored forces. At the beginning of operation, of course, there were some problems, but gradually they were eliminated. This is quite normal practice. After some time, Leopard 2 proved to be a formidable adversary, demonstrating excellent results in various tank competitions and participating in military exercises. Of course, the German vehicle is an example for all the tanks of the NATO countries and can rightfully be called a real masterpiece of armored vehicles in the world. Leopard 2 have a classic layout with the placement of the motor transmission of this compartment. In the aft part of the hull, the fighting compartment in the middle and control compartments in the frontal part of the tank. The crew consists of 4 people. The driver mechanic was located at the starboard side in the bow of the hull. Everyone else is in the tower. The turret and core are percussion. In the upper frontal sheet of the hull, they have a large angle of inclination. Combined armor of the third generation is used in the design of the hull and turret armor. It is able to provide fairly good protection against combat armor and under the caliber of shells. However, the tank is vulnerable to hits from above and from side projections. Additional protection of vorts from cumulative ammunition is provided by new screens. The tank has a lot of fuel and figurative 12-cylinder, four-stroke diesel engine MB-873 with a capacity of 1,500 horsepower has a balanced performance, high continuity, and unpretentious maintenance. It can run on a variety of fuels, including aviation kerosene and gasoline. The capacity of fuel tanks is 1,200 liters. The specific power is 24 horsepower per ton of weight. The speed is 72 kilometers per hour. Cruising on the highway 550 kilometers. The undercarriage includes dual-slope road wheels, the discs of which are made of aluminum alloy. Suspension individual, cable. The run of the tank before overhaul is set at 10,000 kilometers. The armament of all tanks, with the exception of the A6 modification, consists of a 120 mm Rheinmetall smoothbore gun with a barrel length of 44 calibers. The barrel of the gun is equipped with a heat-protective casing made of fiberglass and a device for purging the bore. The survivability of the barrel is at least 500 shots. Ammunition is 46 shots. Charging cycle 6 seconds. The short barrel of the gun simplifies stabilization when the tank is moving and facilitates its balancing. It also increases the accuracy of shooting on the move. Cannon machine gun MG3 caliber, 7. 62 mm. Another installation is located with a total ammunition load of 4,750 rounds. 8 grenade launchers are installed on both sides to set up a smoke screen. The gunner's sight is combined with a laser rangefinder. Its function is to calculate the range to the target and aim the gun. Application range from 200 to 10,000 meters for firing at night. There is a thermal imager with a range of up to 2 kilometers. The tank commander also has the ability to fire from a cannon using a panoramic periscope device, observation. It is connected to the gunner's main sight, so the commander has full access to its functionality. But if the gunner's sight is damaged, then the commander will lose access to it. Preparation for a principal shot while the tank is moving is 15 seconds. If tank motionless 9-10 seconds. Fire control system processes a large amount of data for shooting in various options for aiming and defeat. Targets gunner. You just need to choose a target and put a marker on it. A special sensor that reacts to their thermal radiation helps to detect camouflaged targets. Capable of firing at a moving target while in driving on uneven terrain. With the help of equipment for underwater driving, water obstacles up to 4 meters deep can be overcome. After the adoption of the basic model of the tank, it turned out that the vehicle was still damp and some refinement was needed. Thermal imagers were not installed on the machines of the first series. They had to be installed on tanks already in operation. There were other changes, but they are minor. They took tanks of the first batch of 380 pieces and upgraded them to level 2A1. But they have already received the designation as 2, and 2 are 2. And 3 are improved means of communication. The engine exhaust system and some other mechanisms have been changed. The most common variant of the German tank. Improvements include an automatic fire extinguishing system, a fully digital fire control system, the use of new projectiles, and the introduction of a new turret with flat titanium armor. At the end of the 80s, German designers took up the modernization of tanks of the Leopard 2 family. In order to increase protection, elements of dynamic protection were built into the frontal part of the hull. But most of all, the changed shape of the tower is striking due to the installation of wedge-shaped armor modules, and the fire control system has also been improved. 2A6 has increased fire protection by an electrically driven turret and a number of internal changes to improve crew survivability. The main difference is 120 mm L, 55 guns with a barrel length of 55 calibers. Together with the barrel, the energy and initial speed of the projectiles increased. And as a result, their armor is impenetrable and the range of destruction. The mass of tanks increased to 62 tons. In 2010, at the exhibition, the German company Krauss-Maffei demonstrated a new modification called the Leopard 2A7 Plus. The new version of the tank is a modular upgrade package with the ability to be optimized for the specific requirements of its customers. In terms of the combat weight of the A7 Plus tank, it significantly exceeds the previous version. Its weight can reach 70 tons. As of 2015, a total of 20 vehicles were produced. Some sources indicate that it is planned to upgrade to the level of A7 Plus 150 vehicles from the two previous versions. Leopard 2 tanks did not participate in direct clashes until 2016. In December, the Turkish armed forces, supported by 2 Leopard tanks, invaded Syria. In total, about 30 Leopard tanks participated in the operation, 2, but 4. In one day of fighting in the Syrian city of El-Bab, ISIS militants destroyed 10 Turkish Leopard tanks. This information was later confirmed by German sources. In January 2018, Turkey once again invaded Syria. This time the Leopards acted more successfully, although they had losses. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel Top News Info.